the Awaaz podcast powered by TEDx Caledonian, where we celebrate the power of ideas to ignite change. Our theme is Ignite, sparking innovation and inspiration. And today we have a very special guest who embodies this spirit, Mr. Harish Dayama, the esteemed SSP of Gurdaspur. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, to begin with our podcast, first of all, my question is that the career path that you have chosen is dedicated to service and upholding justice. So, my question is that what was the spark that ignited your desire to become an IPS officer?
It's a very deep question because the service path that we choose, many times it's also decided by the destiny itself. We don't usually plan that we are going to do what we end up doing. In my case, I think that during our initial years of studies and also struggle when we are trying to make our future, we come across a lot of injustice ourselves. So, while dealing with that, while facing the situation ourselves, we realize that what faults are there either in the system or what changes can be made which are feasible, which will make the lives of commoners like us, students, citizens, more comfortable and just. So, in order to ensure that the injustice that we have faced in our times should not be faced by the generations to come or by the society at large, and so that the faith in the system is maintained, it can be enhanced, and just like in one of the movies, Rang De Basanti, you must have seen that the final kind of message that they are trying to give is that you try to improve the system by becoming part of it. So I think that I chose to become part of the system in order to improve it.
So that was a very deep answer, and like a follow up that I would like to continue with is that was there a specific moment or a role model that inspired you to get into the civil services?
Definitely, there are many role models. I would not say just one. There are many. India is blessed to have so many leaders in different fields, not just one field. While my preparation days, there used to be a book called India Yearbook. I don't know whether students refer to that now or not, but it used to be this thick a book. It used to be a big book, and it used to be published yearly. And there used to be pictures of the great achievers of that particular year on the cover page of that book. I was inspired by that book. I came across it when I was in 10th standard, and I just used to go through each and every page of the book. And I believe that uh, that had contained so many leaders of past generation, present generation. I would like to name a few that during my study, during my college days, during my school days, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was the president of India. He was a great visionary. Each and every interview of his would, kind of give me a goosebump or would inspire students. His humility, his rise from no one to the president of India, it inspired me a lot.
Yes. So, as considering the civil services, every path that you choose for your future has its own obstacles. So, while you were preparing for the civil services, when you got in, was there a specific challenge that you faced which was very significant, and how you overcame that?
Civil services is one of the most competitive exams in the world, not just India. Mm, Very often you come across different kind of surveys done by different universities, and in my journey, I believe that God has been kind to me. My only contribution, I would say that I was diligent, or I was having faith in myself, because situations were never easy. Situations were quite difficult. Just like when we see schools these days, the bullying is being reported in the school. In our days, bullying was not an issue at all when we were in school, and it was accepted that corporal punishments or the different kind of violence, all that was there quite prevalent. Even after school, when you come to the college, you face different kind of hardships. One of that is of resources. So resource crunch was definitely there, but I was having this the urge to do something in life, to get out of the ordinary, to do something extraordinary. And in that, different kind of scholarships or fellowships based on merit, they were available. I utilized them. And time was again a challenge, because when you start preparing for civil services, you come across failures, people who have tried for it, and after multiple attempts they could not do. So I always had this uh, bent of mind that I should surround myself with people who have achieved, or even if they don't like, for for the candidates who have got selected, they are like a privileged lot, but still we would try and we would rush there, sit, listen to them, or senior bureaucrats if it is available. So that helped us a lot. And overcoming resources, definitely, when there's a will, there's a way. So I had seen quite a tough time during my graduation, but fortunately, and I did my post graduation along with the first attempt that I gave. So I could give the interview in my first attempt, and in second attempt I could finally get selected. So my teachers also were very happy, because they used to see how I used to get up early in the morning, reach the university, do my experiments. I was a student of biotechnology. So I used to do my experiments, take the samples and everything, and in the evening I used to study for civil services. And this is how it happened.
So, so I really liked your thought of where there's a will, there's a way. So the next follow up for this is that you told that it is obviously hard for the civil exams, especially considering of all the exams in the world. My next question is that how did this particular experience of giving the civil service exam side by side with the biotechnology course that you were doing, shape your personal outlook?
Uh, it's about management, it's about time management. I believe that it's not just civil services, any field, whether you are a singer, whether you are a actor, whether you are a teacher or a scientist or anything, you need to have discipline in life. It has been taught us since quite early in age, that one who sacrifices his comforts achieves his target well in time, rather than giving multiple attempts. You might get selected in your first attempt also, because we have such stories. You might get selected in the second attempt, based on how well you organize yourself, how well you put your priorities, and how much you are ready to give up. You have to I did not attend my brother's wedding. I did not I did not do a lot of things in my family. I got sick while preparing in my first attempt, because I told you that there was a resource crunch. So many times you are dependent on the food being served in the mess, or the you have to take care of yourself. You cannot daily have the luxury of getting home cooked food or this or that. So you have to just focus on one thing, that is study. So while doing that, I got sick also, quite sick. I got admitted, but then again I came back. And after the first round of uh, the attempt, because it's a three-layered exam. You give the prelims, then you give mains, then you give interview, and then if you are not selected, you are back to the square one. So after the first round, when you are not selected, you are heartbroken. You feel like you have come back to the in the same line. And then I remember that in 2013, when the results were out, I was not selected. And I was sitting with my father. I told him that again I have to start the same thing, and the prelims were just 20 days apart. So my friend from the same batch, he called me up and he told me, come back, we will start studying and we'll do it. And I decided that I have to do it. There is no other way. So and I also would like to share that there is a thought that I always follow. People usually say that you should have a plan B. I believe you should not have a plan B. You should have one and only plan. If you fail, You should learn from the failure and move ahead till the time you achieve your goal.
Yes. So, as part of the civil services for such a long time, your core responsibility is to guide a large team of individuals. So sometimes that can outcome to be a little difficult, or sometimes you're overwhelmed with the emotions that you face as their leader and as for some their role model. So could you describe your approach to leadership and how you carry a vast team of individuals?
Policing is very challenging job to do because as such it is stressful. There is resource crunch. There is uh, inelasticity also, because when you are running your own firm you have every option to do it as per your choice. So in policing, as you have rightly said, that as a head of the district police I have a large team with me, and sometimes all of them are not of the same caliber, and the tasks that we face on daily basis are not scheduled things. There are law and order issues which suddenly crop up. There are high court matters. There are routine duties also, and other than that, there is investigation. Many things are there. So, in order to get all of them together, because every time when you enter a unit, you enter a district, you are commanding them. Uh, you have to take work from them, but you have to look after their welfare also. So in that, first of all, you have to understand what is the caliber of your people, your team. You have to understand what is their weakness. You have to understand what is their strength. You have to treat them as humans first. So empathy that we had learned in our preparation days, sympathy, empathy, compassion. These values go a long way in making a good team, and also I believe every team is a good team, but it's about the leader, whether he is a good leader or not. So looking after their necessities, their requirements, and then giving them whatever training, whatever resources they need, we were able to tackle a lot of situations, and I believe that all of them over a period of time have bonded together in sharing the responsibilities, in owning the responsibility, and in taking the job seriously. And overall, I think that they have done a good job.
So this is like a question that I just came up with. So crime is increasing day by day, but at the same time it's decreasing. You talked about car snatching, which is a major crime these days. So how do you think, as India has the largest population and most of the population is the youth? So how do you think the youth should be aware about crime? What are the initiatives that different you as the in the civil services, people in the government, ministers can take to make sure that we as the youth are aware about crime and we should make sure that it is prevented?
I would like to differ on that, because I think crime is more or less the nature of crime changes. How does crime start? Crime starts with a criminal mind situation.
Yes.
So, just like we say that any person is not a born leader or born a criminal. So, there are situations which make a person go into a particular set of crime. He may be an addict, he may be of some background that he had learned these things. So, both ways we have to deal with it. We have to catch them, also, we have to deal with them as per law laid down, and then he has to face the trial, go to the reform center, go to the jails, and then pay for what he had done. But at the same time, we have to also look at the criminal mentality or the criminal psychology of that person. We have to work on that. For example, that many times snatching incidents are from a particular locality, or uh, the smuggling incidents of liquor or of drugs, they are also from a particular locality in the district. So we have to understand the dynamics of that place. What is causing these individuals to become repeat offenders? Why do they regularly get into, when they are out from the jail, why do they again get back to the same thing? So we are also working on that front, and I believe that is a positive approach that would help to reduce the criminality in the society.
So my next two questions are about fostering inspiration between people. So my previous like a few questions back, I asked about how what is your approach to leadership? How do you guide so many individuals? So I also mentioned that you as a leader are, and apart from being a leader, you are an inspiration to many. So what advice would you give to young people about finding their own spark that inspires them to do action?
Um, I think in our passing out parade, when we had passed out from our academy, we had the chief guest who was the national security advisor of the country. He had given in his lecture, he spoke about a Buddhist philosophy where he said that it goes like this: Atman Dipo Bhava. Atman Dipo Bhava is that be your own light. You must have seen that people, when they become sad, they go into depression. It comes from within. You must have also seen that people who are leaders, who are leading the firms, leading the nation, they are also, for them also the spark comes from within only. So you have to keep yourself upbeat. You have to daily inspire yourself while getting up, that what task is there in front of you, how you can achieve it. So I believe that philosophy goes a long way in keeping oneself motivated in any field that we are working. And secondly, to lead, as you have said, that to lead a force, to lead men to do their job properly, I think a leader should follow certain rules. He should follow certain discipline, because once you have achieved something, it doesn't mean it is the end of the world. You have to keep up the same pace. You have to keep working in the same manner. Otherwise, you will be lost. So, in order to keep yourself awake, alert, and relevant, you need to keep those
So
values in mind.
I want to talk about when these floods happened. So as the just the neighboring city Pathankot, we when we heard about it, the school decided to step up, and we donated over 400 relief packets to the people who were affected. It included flour, it included vegetables, biscuits, juice, first aid, and other aids. So that is like just an example of how apart from the civil services, the youth also steps up to help different people in need. So that is the brother sister bond of India.
So
And the next question is that balancing the traditional practices and the out of box solutions that I talked about. So sometimes when you have to innovate and tackle a certain issue, you have to disrupt the traditional system. Sometimes you have to go against them to solve an issue. So how do you balance maintaining essential traditions within the police force while embracing progress and new ideas?
we have seen that the challenges that we are facing are changing day by day. They are, I would not say that they are increasing only, they are also changing in their nature. We face cyber fraud, we face new and newer kind of financial thefts, financial frauds. So, and then there are traditional problems that we have, population which is addicted with, on some or the other thing. So when we were dealing with this thing, I along with the uh, my batchmate only, the deputy commissioner, we decided that we should do something in which we change the narrative. Normally, we see addiction. Definitely, it is a problem, but we see addicts as that you have to only take penal action against the people who are involved into smuggling. And then we talked about this thing, and we thought that it is a demand based thing also. No doubt we have to curb the supply, but then we should work on the demand side. Why can't we motivate people to leave this thing? So on that, we adopted one village, Joda Chitra, it is in Sadar police station, and we aggressively worked on it. The administration did the developmental work. They built the library, stadium. On the police side, we first curtailed the supply chain. Then we worked upon the demand system, and we organized vast seminars. We organized talk shows also, where we had a group of reformed youths who had given up the drug, and they came and spoke to people. They spoke about their struggling days, their survival, how did they come out of it. So everybody got to know that it's not so easy, to just blame someone, to just paint him as an addict and then leave him. Then we don't have the right to claim that our society is having this problem. You should rather be part of the solution, not the crowd who is pointing at the problem, because we already know there is a problem. We have to find the solution. So this way, when we started mobilizing the youth, we started mobilizing uh, the ray of hope, the people who had left the drugs. So they motivated so many other, and we started getting calls from people who actually wanted to get de-addicted, who wanted to start afresh, and there were many success stories. So I think this approach was out of the box. It helped.
So, sir, before we wrap up, what's a single message you want students or young people listening to take away as they ignite their own passion?
A single message would be to believe in yourself, always be motivated. And again, I would say my motivation was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He would always say, think big, thoughts transform into action, and action would give you results. So always have a big aim in front of you and always stay motivated.
So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mr. Daima. Your dedication to innovation is inspiring and to many. To our listeners, remember, each of you has a power to ignite and inspire their own passion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mr. Daima. Your dedication to innovation is inspiring and to many. To our listeners, remember, each of you has a power to ignite and inspire their own passion. Thank you.